The state may have shortchanged small counties money for coronavirus relief. That's according to a new report from the California State Auditor's Office. KSBY's Melissa Newman tells us where the money ended up.
The state received just more than $15 billion in May from the CARES Act to cover expenses from the COVID-19 pandemic. A new report alleges the state gave more money to 16 of its biggest counties, leaving some counties like San Luis Obispo concerned about its financial future. Expenses add up quickly when it comes to a pandemic.
The federal government provided guidelines on costs that could be projected that were appropriate to apply to CARES Act. So for instance, public safety response was a category of costs that we could allocate CARES Act funding to.
Counties like San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara turned to the state for money for coronavirus relief. And while they were allocated funding, a new report from the State Auditor's Office reveals larger counties received more money, even when they had fewer cases of COVID-19.
It is unfortunate that our county did not get our fair share for the population that we do have. And I think that with the money that we did receive, we did our best in really standing up a robust COVID-19 response effort.
The auditor's office says 16 large counties received in some cases $90 more per person in relief. These types of funds are used for things like contact tracing and testing for COVID-19. Now with the vaccine distributions underway, San Luis Obispo County's administrative office says more state funding is needed with a projected $12 to $22 million gap in the county's budget.
There's certainly a situation evolving now wherein as we begin to ramp up our vaccine inoculations of citizens in our county, we could use more funding. There's no question about that. And so the difference between what the report says and what we received would go a long way to help with our vaccination efforts.
The report also alleges the state did not consistently evaluate cities adhering to public health orders like the stay-at-home order, which was a factor in cities receiving funding. In San Luis Obispo, Melissa Newman, KSBY News.
The State Auditor's Office recommends if California receives more federal funding, California's Finance Department should fairly distribute COVID funds.